one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
Hey, I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. You gotta fight for your right to party! You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop a million songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our block, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
They've had every opportunity to make this right. And they won't. And I'm like holding my breath. I'm waiting for the other cleat to drop in Baltimore. Like, are you guys going to do it now?
Hell, I might send him a bouquet.
Seriously.
Because Skip, here's the thing, okay? He comes in, Flacco's playing, Flacco get hurt, he playing bad anyway. He comes in, he leads them to the playoffs. The next year, he wins the MVP. The next year, he takes them back to the playoffs and wins the playoff game. So what else do you need to see before you give this man his money? So he plays last year, okay? You don't give him his money. And now, you're in the playoff with Lamar. We in the playoff, bro. Ooh, we good, Lamar. No, we not good. And we not going to be good until you break bread. Make the money right.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking, bro. Welcome back to another episode of Kicking on Saying. I don't know why I stopped the intro to that ADD, bro. I don't know why I didn't do this before I hopped on this bad boy. Hey, give me like 2 seconds, bro. Give me like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It's gonna keep going up if I keep talking. So hold up. I'm charged up. How's everybody doing out there today? On this Saturday night. I would say I'm exhausted, but I'm not exhausted anymore, bro. I got some food in my system. Some drink in my system. Not like no alcohol, nothing like that. Just a beverage. A refreshing beverage. Yo, speaking of refreshing beverage, I was watching the NBA All-Star Weekend, and I'm seeing all the commercials on other networks about, because you know the NBA All-Star Weekend had a lot of the Starry lemon lime drink, and I just so happened to taste one of those the other day because I keep passing them. I never had the urge to taste one, but I tasted one the other day. Listen, I really don't know what's the hype. I'm not a Sprite person, but Sprite tastes way better. Starry I didn't know if I was drinking a carbonated water. Like, I didn't really know is this supposed to be like the new Sierra Mist or something? 'Cause Sierra Mist was nasty too. I can't even say this is nasty. I just don't think, it don't taste like nothing to me. Like, it's like so light that I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's not for me. But they plugging that shit hard as hell in the NBA. Needless to say, sign them, tag them, trade them. That's what we're here to talk about, Lamar Jackson. But first, yo, I was watching the Clippers-Kings game last night. Yo, this dude, Eric Gordon, nobody was playing defense in the game. It was 100-plus points in the third quarter. This dude, Eric Gordon, I knew he wasn't doing much defense in Houston since Harden and that, whole thing because, he wanted to be out of Houston. But just go watch him last night. And like I said, nobody was playing defense. But just go look at Eric Gordon and see how the lengths he went to not play defense. If you don't know, that game went into double overtime last night. I find it strange that a team with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, two dudes who's supposed to be two-way players, Paul George, who we know been in conversations for defensive player of the last couple of years, Kawhi Leonard literally was known as the claw. His defense was what made him great at first. And now, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, two dudes who you would imagine if you put those Paul George, Kawhi in front of, they would be able to stop. Both of them go 40-plus points. So, interesting. But needless to say, we're here to talk about Lamar Jackson. And before I start, we actually about to start talking about Lamar Jackson. Like the conversation about Lamar is about to start. But I do want to talk about something else that I saw. Friday, as I'm going to work, I'm looking at this clip from First Take, I think it was. It definitely was First Take because that's where Mad Dog, that dude, Chris Russo. And they was talking about, he said, they asked him, like, would he want Lamar or, no, he was basically saying, like, he would take, when he was disparaging Lamar, I'm going to get into the whole thing in a minute, but specifically his comments on Lamar, which I tell you, every time he talk about Lamar, his comments on Lamar to me is just stupid. You can tell the media, you can tell the dudes who don't actually watch Lamar Jackson play or who watched him play when he was a rookie or in college and have chosen not to continuously watch him throughout their career because they regurgitate the same shit every time they talk about Lamar Jackson. But it was a comment that he specifically made that is one of the reasons why I said a couple weeks ago in a video that black quarterbacks is held to such a ridiculous standard compared to their white counterparts. And there was a lot of white dudes in the comment section that I said that in that was going all crazy. Like, and they kept saying things that had absolutely nothing to do. I told you, one of the things that I noticed ignorant white dudes like to do, because I want to separate it, because all white dudes not like this. But the ignorant group of white dudes is like this. They love to try to change the subject to something that they can argue about to try to deflect away from the subject that you're talking about. But Mad Dog Russo, when he say, one of the reasons he don't want Lamar Jackson, because I told you, when you have to try to make a case against why Lamar is not what everybody know he is to be or what people say he is, you got to immediately go to the playoffs. Now, I done pointed multiple times that the playoffs is a team thing. Winning Super Bowls is a team thing. I understand. I don't take credit away from quarterbacks because we know how big of a part they play in that. However, if you look at the Ravens, you take away his, mind you, how insane is it that he got crushed the way he did in his rookie game in the playoffs? For a team that wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs, he came in mid-season and people still crushed him. For any other white quarterback, they would have told you, oh, he came in mid-season, the playbook wasn't designed for him yet, no receivers, yada, yada, yada. They would have made excuses. Not for Lamar. They crushed him and tried to make that as to why he can't be successful. That's the first thing they did. But pointing to the Chris Russo thing of he haven't won in the playoffs, they immediately said, well, Josh Allen. No, he said, well, Lamar haven't won a Super Bowl. They said, well, Josh Allen haven't won a Super Bowl. Herbert haven't even been to the playoffs except for once and lost in it. What are you talking about? And he immediately kept trying to change the subject. So the people who have that type of way of thinking, it's really nothing you can say about Lamar Jackson at this point that'll change their way of thinking. He win a Super Bowl and they will have a reason to discredit him. Because when you design a quarterback and when you talk about what you want your franchise quarterback to be, a lot of the excuses that I see people make for the Justin Fields of the world and a lot of these other, hell, I hear people now saying Josh Allen don't got enough help around him. Now, I do want people to realize to compare the help that a lot of these quarterbacks have, comparing it to Joe Burrow, you just can't do it. Or Jalen Hurts. Because it's very rare that a team have that much talent around them. Joe Burrow is not going to have 3 number 1 receivers around him for the entirety of his career because you ain't paying Joe Burrow and 3 receivers. It's just not going to happen. T. Higgins probably gone at the end of this offseason. The Eagles are not going to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith's contract eventually will come up to where he can go get a big deal on the open market. Unless A.J. Brown at that point in time is willing to reconstruct his contract. And I would never get on here and say, because I notice fans like to do this because it's not their money. They just want to see their team win. So they love to hop into a player's pocket and tell them to take a pay cut. Oh, you done made enough money, take a pay cut. But yet I see people go to work every day. But I'm never going to hop on here and say, in order for this dude to stay, this dude need to take a pay cut. So I'm not going to do that. What I will tell you is the only way that I could see it happening is if A.J. Brown decides he wants to take less. And or somebody else on the team decide they want to take less, because the team, it's not that the team can't pay them that much money. It's that a team is not going to make the decision to want to pay them that type of money, because they keep telling you that we can't build a competitive team if we pay everybody. No, they can't build a competitive team because they don't want to pay everybody a whole bunch of money. It's just the reality of sports. So if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both going to make big contracts, and Jalen Hurts is highly on, and Dallas Goedert, it's just not likely that you pay that many guys on the offense top dollar. It work right now because Devontae and Jalen Hurts is on rookie contracts, which Jalen Hurts probably won't be on a rookie contract going into next season. So, and then, with that being said, you can't look at the Eagles. You can't look at the Cincinnati, because it's very rare that teams get that type of talent all around. Even in Miami with Jalen Waddle and with Tyreek Hill. Waddle was on a rookie contract. They're not paying Tua right now. That's why you can have that type of talent, because most teams are not going to pay that type of talent to be on the team, because they want to pay dudes on the defensive side of the ball and all that type of thing. So that's just the nature of the beast. So like I said, don't compare the weapons. That's why I don't like it when people look at Josh Allen and be like, oh, Josh Allen ain't got weapons. He got a number 1 receiver. He got a great number 2 receiver. If you want to say a great tight end, if you want to say Josh Allen don't have something, you can make an argument. I even see people try to say he got good enough running backs, they just don't run the ball. I'm just going off of the production that I've seen over the last couple years. He don't have above average running backs. He got decent to average running backs. Now, could a problem be that they don't run the ball good enough, effectively enough, or call a good enough run game? Yes, that could be a problem. I think the problem, period, is that they don't have a good enough run scheme, run game, production coming from the running backs. That is a problem. And when you force Josh Allen, I don't even know if you say force at this point, but now that he in the mindset of playing like Superman every time he walk out there, eventually these hits will catch up. People bitch about Lamar Jackson. He don't even take vicious hits. Look at the hits Josh Allen is taking. You can't make a highlight tape of vicious hits that Lamar Jackson is taking. I'm thinking of 2 he done taken his entire career. Josh Allen take vicious hits damn near every other week. So I think it would behoove the Buffalo Bills to go get Josh Allen a running back, a productive running back. Saquon out there, Derrick Henry probably gonna be out there to be traded for. So I think if you and then another reason I don't like people making excuses about this thing, bruh, if you want to win, you pay that bill. It's plain and simple. It's a cost to winning. It is a price. Point blank, period. Winning has a price. Point blank, period. So I know we started off with Chris Mad Dog Russo and all that, but when you paint the picture of the perfect quarterback, all these things that people say, oh, this dude ain't got receivers. Lamar Jackson literally went without Pro Bowlers scattered throughout his offense. The year that all those dudes went to the Pro Bowl, you can legitimately make an argument. Do they go if Lamar Jackson is not the unanimous MVP that year? It was offensive linemen going, a lot of defenders going, not a single receiver. I'm just saying. I don't even think a running back made the Pro Bowl that year for us. I know Lamar went. I know Lamar MVP candidate every year he's starting. I know we first in the AFC or somewhere in the top in the AFC and always first in our division until he get hurt. Now people saying, oh, well, he got an injury problem. It's crazy how you never have an injury problem until it's time for him to get paid. The man done missed, 11 or 10 games total in his career. Do you know how many quarterbacks done missed more games than Lamar Jackson? Oh, but he played with his legs. I mean, if you go watch the film, it'll clearly show you a quarterback who played from the pocket. But because of lack of talent, he is forced to use his legs. And because he do it better than anybody else, the media decides the easiest way to talk about Lamar Jackson is let's talk about his legs. And as a fan, you should be insulted. If you feel as though you are a fan who really know football, or a fan that want to know football, want to learn football, really want to learn about these players so you don't sound like a dumbass in a conversation full of people who actually know what they're talking about, you should demand more from the media. If you sit down and watch Lamar Jackson play, you disgusted if everything they talk about when they talk about him is the fact that he can run the ball. Because the man operate from the pocket. Peyton Manning say that, but I guess Peyton Manning don't know what he talking about. The tape will show you that this is a quarterback who take more sacks than he should because he operate from the pocket when he should run the ball at times. It'll show you that it's nobody on this team that's getting open for him. The scheme is not good enough. It been not good enough. The only weapon he got is Mark Andrews, but they'll tell you, well, he need to learn to spread the ball out because he only throw it to Mark Andrews. Well, who the hell else is getting open for him? You want him to keep forcing interceptions? And then we'll turn him into, Lamar Jackson not safe with the ball. They require him to play like Superman. So it's games this year that we lost because he was forced to be Superman. And you don't have a problem with it when it's all good. But as soon as things go wrong, it's, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens have been fortunate that not a bad word was said about that. That's why it's so weird to me when I see fans always get up in arms who be like, but people think the Ravens did something wrong. Oh, the media's talking like the Ravens did. Bro, the Ravens have had the fortune of never had nothing bad said about them since they done got Lamar Jackson. Because real analysts would have said, why haven't they given him a deal after he won unanimous MVP, got you to the playoffs his first 3 years? How has he not gotten an extension yet? Because as a quarterback's job, as a rookie to now, that's what he's done. How have you not paid that man an extension yet? But they waited. And nobody got up in a meeting and said, Lamar, it would be a good time to pay him now. All you hear is, Baltimore is a great organization. They got 2 Super Bowls in their team's history, bro. Like, what are we doing? We are not the Steelers. We are not the Cowboys, the Patriots, or any of those historic teams that's done constantly won. This ain't even a team that's consistently in the Super Bowl or consistently in the AFC Championship game. This is a team, if you look at it, you could look at this team and say, man, if they did this, that, or this or that, this would be a Super Bowl contending team. But they got lazy. They've been able to rely on Lamar Jackson and his greatness. You see, they've been doing what the Chiefs did this year or in the offseason. In the offseason, the Chiefs made a gamble. They said, we're not going to pay Tyreek Hill the money he wants. We feel like we can win without him on the team because we have Pat Mahomes. Now, I'll continue to say this. Even though they did end up winning the Super Bowl and they were proven right at the grand scheme of it all, if you look at the season and how Pat Mahomes and that offense was forced to change and play, you can't tell me that it wouldn't have been an easier offense if they had Tyreek Hill. However, that's the greatness of having a Pat Mahomes, a Travis Kelce, Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, and everybody around them doing their jobs, and that phenomenal offensive line. So they did end up winning. The Ravens took that gamble, and they've been taking that gamble since Lamar Jackson has been on the team because they last in the NFL is spending on a wide receiver. You can't even say the Chiefs is doing that because the Chiefs went out and tried to make trades throughout the season to bring over talent at the receiving position to help out their quarterback. But see, when people mention that the Ravens have yet to spend on receivers and they dead last in the NFL is spending on receivers, people say, well, nobody want to play with Lamar Jackson. No NFL player done came out and said that. The Ravens have shown throughout their history they refuse to spend on receivers. They refuse to go out and get receivers in their prime to go help Lamar Jackson. But they keep relying on him to do everything. Do you think Lamar Jackson would be injury prone if he didn't have to lead the team in rushing yards, passing yards, be the captain of the offense, understand what the defense running? He basically got to be perfect for this team. You see what the team is without him. That's not a shock. People keep saying, oh, they built the team around him. That's why they bad. No, they built the team around him. That's what you keep saying. But what have they really done around him? Because they refuse to go out and get the thing that the receiver, that a quarterback would want the most, a phenomenal receiver. The offensive line, after Lamar's MVP year, the offensive line was shaky every year after that until last year. And this ain't a great passing offensive line. It's a great run blocking offensive line. Greg Roman stayed around longer than he should have. Everything show you that the Ravens is cheap. They won't spend. They stuck in their ways. They won't evolve with the NFL. And where has it gotten them? They are legitimately wasting Lamar Jackson's career, which is why we are here of tag them, trade them, sign them. What should they do? See, this is not actually a what should they do video. I'm going to break down all three scenarios, and then at the end of it, I'm going to tell you what I think they should do. First off, what should the Ravens do? Not do what I think they should do, what they should do. They should sign the man. So let's talk about it. Let's say the Ravens sign Lamar Jackson. For one, let's talk about the contract because a lot of numbers been thrown out. And I'm going to just go with the contract thing that I done heard the most. They offered him $250 with $133 million guaranteed. Now, what you need to focus on is the guarantee. That's all that matters. Everything else, all the other does not matter. The only thing that matters in a contract is the guaranteed money. Now, before we even get into that, it's a group of people who I always got to address. If you are the type of human being that's going to say, oh, 103 is way more than enough, there's people out here struggling, then this is not the conversation for you. Because if you are the type of person that believes that somebody's value and their worth is dictated on how the world is working, then you are foolish. If you're the type of person who's never going to like somebody who, if you think everybody who make a lot of money, who constantly negotiate to make more money is selfish, then this is not the conversation for you. Because you have not grown and matured to the point where you can have these type of conversations, understanding that you are worth what you negotiate. Your value is not dictated and your worth is not dictated based off of how the world is working. In your industry, in your walks of life, in your businesses, and your careers, numbers is dictated by those things that intertwine and go on and within that business. Lamar Jackson's value is dictated based off of his counterparts in the NFL, not based off of how much you make working at McDonald's, not based off of how much you make working at how much I make working at FedEx, not how much somebody make off of working at Ashley Furniture. This is not how an athlete's money is dictated. I wish y'all would get out of that ignorant mindset. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves, bruh. Because that's really what it turned into. Oh, I don't make a lot of money, so I'm going to just use the excuse the world's struggling. So why she, like, bruh, do you know how insufferable of a person it is to be around, you are to be around when you have that type of mindset? Like, and you never say that type of shit out in public unless you around somebody who already so insufferable that they don't realize that how insufferable they are. So they talk like this openly. Do you? And then people who also say this type of shit is people who con artists. So I can see an NFL owner going out there and saying, oh man, with the way the society is, you know, these dudes should be appreciative of the money. You're a billionaire, bro. Shut the whole fuck up. And I constantly say, I think it's very interesting that fans like to safeguard and penny pinch for billionaires, but tell players who will never probably make nearly the money that a billionaire make, or especially that the NFL team they playing for will make, that they should be grateful of the money they make. That's very interesting to me. But nonetheless, 133 million guaranteed is a flat out disrespectful offer. considering Russ got 156 guaranteed, I believe. Kyler got 189 guaranteed. He better than both of them. Lamar Jackson has been a top 5 quarterback in the NFL since he done stepped foot in the NFL let me take it back. Since his first full start in the NFL till now, he has been a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He done shown you what he can do with lesser than talent around him. He done carried a team and a franchise on his back. Something that you would pray your quarterback can do for you when he is drafted. For some reason, Lamar Jackson continued to prove everybody wrong, and he continued to get none of the credit. I see people defend Justin Fields left and right on what he could be instead of what he has shown you. Lamar Jackson is everything they praying Justin Fields can be, but for some reason, everybody keep acting. Mind you, people keep acting like Lamar Jackson is like 30-something. This dude 25 or 26. So just constant confusing. Like anybody who have a conversation with you and say, given a choice who they would want right now of all the free agents, like would you want Lamar if he become one, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, anybody who choose anything but Lamar as their first option, you have to check their brain. You just don't know football at this point. I've never seen, and I'm being dead ass serious, and maybe I'm just forgetting somebody. I have never seen an athlete that has been able to put together the resume to this point in his career that Lamar Jackson has put together be disrespected. Because I have seen Steph Curry be disrespected on a wild level after winning championships. But for a young athlete, knowing what the position entails, knowing if you look around, and that's probably what bothered me the most, because for quarterbacks they like, if they were put in the same position Lamar have on this team, and you see the last in spending on receivers at the skill position. If you see what Baltimore would do, people would call it out. If this was Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Hell, they saying Justin Herbert ain't got weapons, and he got 2 phenomenal weapons over there. 3 really. But you look at what Lamar Jackson has done to this point in his career and the resume he done been able to put together. I just don't. The man got the 4th highest winning percentage in his career of any quarterback in history. But then people will say, well, that's the regular season. Like it just make no sense. It make absolutely no sense. It's like people don't realize Peyton Manning won 2 championships. Is the rest of his career pointless? Like I don't understand this concept of if he don't win a ring, he bad. Do you know how many people? You know when Pat Mahomes retired, he will have won less rings than years he played. Just like Brady, just like Mahomes. Just like Manning, Breeze, Rodgers. You do know it's no player that win more championships than the years they play. Like, but nonetheless, this ability to let young quarterbacks be young quarterbacks, but the thing that they've never allowed Lamar Jackson to be a young quarterback. And I said it before. He can't win ugly. He can't lose. He definitely can't lose ugly. Like, it's criticism every single step of the way. When have you ever seen the national media together, like for the majority of them, praise and give Lamar Jackson the credit he deserves? It make no sense for Baltimore to not sign this man back. Is the first option. Because you have not given him anything at the receiving position. I mean, it's one thing to not go out and trade for a number 1 receiver when he was on a rookie contract and now try to blame him for why you don't go get one because, we got to pay Lamar. So when you didn't pay him, why didn't you go get him the receiver he needed? But it's another thing to keep people continue to say, they trying because they draft receivers. They'll waste that last pick in the first round back in the first round to get it because they never use a high first pick when they get the highest pick they get in the first rounds. They never use those on receivers. Brashad Perriman ain't played in 2 years. And somehow people keep saying, the Ravens is trying. If somebody do something, the same thing over and over and over again, and it never worked, do we continue to say they trying or do we say you need to try something else? And when there's a blueprint in the NFL right now as to how you acquire number 1 receiver talent, and the Ravens just continuously show you we're not going to do that, do we say you're trying or do we say you just straight up neglecting how it's shown how to do this? Because every team has got a number 1 receiver. If they did not draft that receiver high in the draft, or you just miraculously had one that break out into a superstar receiver, which will fall into this next category, then you trade for him. The Bills had to do it. Cincinnati, one of the fortunate ones who keep drafting, even though they do draft high in the draft. So they fall into the first category. But look at how many number one receivers done had to leave teams and get traded to the next one. How many superstar quarterbacks or top tier quarterbacks have top receivers? Look at how many got traded to him. I know Tua ain't a top tier quarterback, but he got Tyreek. So I see people defend Kirk Cousins all the time, and you do realize he done play with Adam Thielen in his prime, Justin Jefferson in his prime, and I don't even know why I said in his prime, because Justin Jefferson haven't been bad since he stepped foot in the NFL. Stephon Diggs, like what are we doing? He get excuses made left and right. You couldn't even name the receivers that Lamar Jackson played with, not named Marquise Brown. And the only reason you remember his name is because the people call him Hollywood, and you just keep trying to use him as the overweight, the overhyped Lamar, because Lamar led that. I was going to say something. Got him 2,000-yard receiving seasons. That's the only reason you're going to try to overhype him. But I saw those seasons. I know who did the work. I saw who was the reason. So it would make no sense for them not to sign him. Why would you not give him the contract? For one, why do you want him to take a pay cut when you could have signed him before Deshaun got signed? You could have signed him before Dak got signed. You chose not to. You've yet to go out and spend big on offensive weapons for him. Why would he sign for less, believing that you would use the money that you didn't use on him on receivers when you didn't go out and get me top tier weapons when I was on my rookie deal? Logically, how does that make sense? Put yourself in his position. And you done bust your ass for this team. You know you the only reason this team is relevant. It don't matter how much people outside try to get the credit to everybody else. You know you saved a lot of jobs in this organization. You know you saved this organization from a lot of bad years. And they want you to take a pay cut. However, because the dude who make more than you is an outlier contract. But you look at the dude who make more than you and you say, it's not my problem that another team gave him that money. All I know is he make more than me. And he been making more than me. And I've been better than him. My career resume is better than him. The eye test say I'm better than him. I'm better than him off the field too, if you want to throw that in there. What I've done for you is greater than what he done for any team he done been on. Hell, as a matter of fact, what I done for you is greater than basically every team aside from that don't have Pat Mahomes, Matthew Stafford the last year, Tom Brady, or the teams that don't win a Super Bowl since I've been in the NFL. But I can look at those teams and say, look at the receivers they have lined up on that offense, on those offenses, and look at what I got to work with. You didn't get Mark Andrews in the first round thinking he was going to be a superstar. You lucked up into Mark Andrews. I could say I can take credit for Mark Andrews because if not for me being great, do we know if he developed into what he is? You continue to spend on the defense. I see you traded for Marcus Peters and gave him big money. You signed Marlon Humphrey to an extension. You go out and spent on Marcus Williams. You go out, not only do you keep spending on safeties, but you keep drafting and signing them because you signed Chuck Clark to an extension. You go out and sign Marcus Williams after giving Chuck Clark that extension. And you go out and draft Cal Hamilton after giving Marcus Williams a contract and after extending Chuck Clark. But you refuse to spend any type of money on a receiver. But you got that type of money to keep giving out to the defensive side of the ball. You gave Calais Campbell a contract. And you keep bringing him back. We don't have a single pass rusher on this team that's a legitimate pass rusher. But you keep spending on everything else. But you won't go out and get me a receiver. So why would I give you a pay cut, a discount, when you've shown me that when you basically paid me little to nothing based off of what I was worth, that you wasn't going to use that money anyways to help me out? You didn't even go. You lucked up and drafted a center because you definitely didn't have no weapon. The biggest payment on my offensive line Didn't play for me in 2 to 3 years. I done went out here on the field, carried this team in more ways than one, done for this team what no other quarterback has been asked to do for their team probably in the last decade plus. And you would be willing to take a pay cut. How stupid would that be? Put yourself in his shoes. Knowing everything that I just said, why in God's name would you take a pay cut? And because, now it was a report that Lamar has never even asked for a fully guaranteed contract. I think he should, but nonetheless, I'm 133 million guaranteed is just foolish. Because everything that I just told you about Lamar Jackson, none of those other quarterbacks who make more than him can say they done. The only quarterback who can legitimately say he done been better than Lamar Jackson, even if you take away the team greatness, is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Joe Burrow is better than Lamar Jackson. I think Joe Burrow got 3 number 1 weapons and a great running back. I do not think Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson. It's a reason he ain't been able to get over the hump even with number 1 receivers and a receiver who go nuts every time he get to the playoffs. The blessing for a lot of these teams right now is the fact that Lamar Jackson is playing for a cheap-ass organization. The curse for Lamar is that he might love this team so much that he don't get out. Because it is teams out there that would get him the receivers that he need to win. They would not keep relying on him and him alone and his talent alone. The Ravens continue to say, oh, we want Lamar, we do this. I refuse to believe it. Because if you really wanted Lamar, you would have paid him. Because and that's the funny thing about business, and that's the funny thing about fans. Because the fans are so quick to call out the players. Why are y'all not calling out the Ravens and the shortcomings of this team? Like, I hate it when I hear people say this team, this organization is trash. Or this player is trash. No, not this organization. This team is trash. Or this franchise is trash. No. Let's dumb it down. Be more specific. Eric DaCosta is garbage at his job right now. The owner, Steve Bisciotti, is terrible. Because this all go up to him, too. Ozzie, if he involved. Harbaugh, I don't really think got too much to do with this, but nonetheless, these dudes, are not doing a good job. Because I'm not going to say the team trash, because they done been great in the past. But what is happening right now to severely fumble and waste and gamble on a talent like Lamar Jackson, I done told you how disrespectful it is. But because of all that I told you, and I told you, yes, I think you need to sign him. And I told you why you sign him, because of everything you don't do for this team. But now let me flip it to, because I don't think they'll sign him, tag him. Now this one won't take too long. Because if you tag him, I doubt you'll be playing. I doubt he'll be playing. Because that then will lead to the trading him. But we'll settle down right here on the tagging him real quick. So you tag him. For one, you only have one choice. Because you can't give him the regular franchise tag. You have to give him an exclusive franchise tag. Now, if you ask me what's the difference, well, the exclusive franchise tag is like around $45 million, they say, and no team can negotiate with him. You give him the regular franchise tag, a team can come in, negotiate with him, and if the Ravens don't match the offer, then you give up 2 first-round picks, and boom, you got Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are not stupid. They know they cannot put that regular franchise tag on him because there will be multiple teams that immediately go out there and negotiate contracts with Lamar Jackson. And 2 first-round picks will never be enough for a franchise quarterback. I'm telling you right now, they have to put the exclusive franchise tag on him. And that immediately hurts you because that's $45 million dollars coming right out of your cap this year. Well, now that hurts you helping put the team around him. And you're going to blame Lamar Jackson. But like I said before, you could have been figured all this out. You chose not to. You chose to keep running him into the dirt like he was a running back and thought he was just going to be cool with it because of his kindness. This is what I'm saying. You can love the Ravens. You could be a Raven fan. But call out buffoonery when you see it. This, how the Ravens have treated Lamar, how they've approached this. They keep yelling to you and keep screaming to the clouds, we love Lamar. The actions have not shown that they love Lamar. It's plain and simple. Stop. You can still be a Ravens fan and call them out. When you discipline your child, when you try to correct your child, when you're trying to raise a respectable child who will be a benefit to society in the future. You don't hold back, or hopefully you don't hold back because you fear, oh, they might not like me. The greater lesson here is I don't care if they like me in this moment. I'm trying to teach them how to be better human beings, not just for themselves, but for society. And if you're doing it the right way with great intentions, they're going to love you at the end of the day, regardless. You can call the Ravens out. The problem is nobody has. And that's why we are now in this situation where it's sign them, tag them, trade them. Hey, the video makes itself. But like I said, they'll have to put the exclusive franchise tag on him, and nobody will be able to negotiate. Now, will he play under the franchise tag? I doubt it. But there is a world out there where Lamar Jackson could play under the franchise tag. I mean, he played for less money last year with no security. I believe Lamar Jackson is the ultimate baller. He's always going to not gamble, but bet on himself. And I truly don't believe he even look at it as betting on himself. He just believe he know he is that guy. So every time he step on the field, he expect to get shit done. And I got no reason to doubt that, because I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Because I told somebody this the other day at work. Because it's a dude who I work with named Dre. He loved Lamar Jackson. That's his favorite player. That's not his favorite team, but his favorite player is Lamar Jackson. Which I hear a lot of black people say. Their favorite team is not the Ravens, but their favorite player is Lamar Jackson. And I was talking to Dre the other day, and I said, bro, Dre, because he think Lamar Jackson being done dirty too. And he don't like to talk about it, I guess, because he hear how the public be trying to talk on Lamar and shade him. But you ever hear somebody, you ever hold something in, and then when somebody had that same thought, you just like, bruh, I've been finally, that's how he was. And I told Dre, I was like, bruh, to be completely honest with you, bruh, I said, I get what you're doing. I said, I understand how you feel, because I feel that way sometimes too. I said, maybe that's why I feel the way I feel right now. I said, but I'm being dead ass serious. I said, I look at all these quarterbacks on a regular basis. But I said more than a regular basis. I watch these dudes more than most people, more than most of their fans watching. I said, because I know what I want to do when I one day, and this is basically a job for me, not in a bad way, but like I have to know these dudes. So I say, when I look at all these dudes, Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, all these dudes, I watch them all. Fields. I don't watch that much Kenny Pickett yet. I have watched some Kenny Pickett, but not a shit ton of Kenny Pickett. But I said, when I watch all these top dudes, I was like, bro, I'm being dead ass serious with you, bro. I understand, and I fully acknowledge that Pat McGoat is number one. I said, that's easy to see. I said, but I'm being dead ass serious when I say Lamar Jackson is the second best quarterback in the NFL to me. Off of just pure talent and what he do for a team alone. I said, I just don't see nobody better than him than Pat Mahomes. I cannot, and if you listen to me, you know I love Josh Allen. I cannot definitively say Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson. I can't say Joe Burrow. The Joe Burrow one is very tough for me. And what's wild is a lot of people that actually started saying this. I don't know how great Joe, and this is one of the craziest things, because I can watch quarterbacks for a long time and see how they are, right? And I watch a lot of Joe Burrow. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I don't watch every single Joe Burrow game that he done ever played. Bruh, it's just so hard. If you watch Joe Burrow, because I told you last year, if you watched the Bengals last year, it was a two-sided team. Sometimes they go on the field and it's like, yo, what is this team doing? They do not know how to play football. And then other teams, it's like, yo, it's nobody that's beating this team. And then once they started playing, and I'm cursed because I said it last year, I was like, yo, if this team can start doing this and that, soon as they started doing it, they looked exactly how I thought they could look. Because I was looking at the team and I was looking at the talent. And I'm like, bro, there's so much talent on this team, bro. If they just do this and that. So I really don't know how great Joe Burrow is. But I do know he is a great quarterback. I just don't know if Lamar, Allen, or Pat Mahomes. And the funny thing about Allen is so great that I feel like more so than any of these other quarterbacks, he kind of cancel out his greatness at times because of how absolutely erratic he play at times. And I'm not talking about erratic in a bad way, in a sense of, man, what is he doing? But more of a sense of, Josh, bro, you cannot do that, bro. Like, you gotta chill, my guy. It's almost as if every game mean the same to him. So he gonna play every single one with reckless abandon. But I need him to understand that there's certain games that mean a little bit more and a little bit less to others. But nonetheless, they all great quarterbacks. But I told, bruh, like, I really think Lamar Jackson is, and listen, as more data, I'm not necessarily data, but as I keep watching, opinions can change. But Lamar Jackson ain't shown me nothing to not think he is the second best. It's like, I put it like this. Generational talent get used a lot. And I might even use it a lot, but I try to use it. I use it a lot because I'm using it for the same player most of the time. Like I talk about Pat Mahomes, I'm constantly calling him a generational talent. However, you've never seen me call Josh Allen a generational talent. As much love and adoration as I give him, you hear me call Lamar that all the time. Because it's like I told Dre, I don't know the last time I saw a quarterback, given what Lamar Jackson has been given his first 5 years in the league to work with. I've never seen a quarterback win at this level with this core, with this type of trash around him. And no disrespect. What he got around him is basically what Justin Fields got over there. And it's worse because Justin Fields got a receiver who done proven he was a good receiver. Plus, I keep telling people, if you give Lamar Jackson, Mooney, and Claypool, I promise you Lamar Jackson is in the AFC Championship game. Justin Fields is just not a great quarterback right now. And that's fine. But Lamar Jackson, given what he has been given to work with, it's unbelievable to me that he has been able to do what he's been able to do. And so I don't understand how people don't see that. So you tag him, you might as well go ahead and get ready to lose him. Because I highly doubt he returns if you tag him. And then you get to the last one. Do you trade him? Let's say they trade him. Now, listen, you already know. I told you I think they should go ahead and sign him. However, if you done made up your mind that you're not going to pay the man what he want, you're not. See, this is my biggest thing. If you done made up your mind that you're not going to go out and trade for a number one receiver, please trade this man. Fuck the money. This man does not deserve to have his talent wasted. He going to get paid. I'm not worried about Lamar Jackson being paid because Lamar going to get paid regardless if it's with the Ravens or not. I don't want to see him stay in Baltimore because Baltimore done shown their history says they will not go out and get him a number one receiver because they ain't never done it before. So why would you keep him if you know you're not going to? You look at the teams and you see what it takes to be able to go be great. And you refuse to go out and do what other teams are doing. Just because Lamar Jackson greater than all their quarterbacks so he can overcome. Bruh, you literally have receivers that cannot win one-on-ones ever. That is a problem. You was trying to operate like you have average receivers to good. No, you got average to below average. And on top of that, they short. I said y'all keep drafting and doing the same stupid shit over. Bro, y'all keep drafting short receivers at that. Or signing short. Like, come on, bro. Now, I understand Bateman ain't short. But I'm talking about you look at the other receiver. Prochet, Duvernay. All these dudes is short. So, if you trade them, you probably you're going to scoop in a large sum. I'm imagining you're going to get more than what Deshaun Watson pulled in. I'm just imagining because if a team that know football, that understand what Deshaun, I would much rather have Lamar Jackson than Deshaun Watson. It's not even close. Like, when is the last time a quarterback, if ever, a quarterback of this caliber was on the market, bruh? Because he shouldn't be on the market. And that's what's so weird. The Ravens acted like they didn't know that they was going to have to pay their franchise quarterback one day. That's unbelievable. And if, let's say that they gave Lamar Jackson a contract and he was dumb enough to take that contract and then Kyler signed his and he saw the discrepancy of guaranteed money. You was going to lose him in a couple years anyways because he wasn't going to never be sit right and be happy about that. And I keep hearing people say, well, Pat Mahomes make less than all them. Bro, Pat Mahomes literally signed a contract about 3 years ago. If he restructured right now and demanded more than every quarterback in the league, he'd get it. But let's stop trying to throw Pat Mahomes in there and act like if Pat Mahomes didn't want to, he couldn't go guarantee more money. Oh, but he don't do it because, he want them to build around him and, have a great. Pat Mahomes is of the mindset, it don't matter who around me, I'm going to win. And great players want to play with great players. I wish y'all would stop trying to tell great players that they want to play with trash cans just because y'all trash. Especially when great players keep showing you that they like playing together. That it's way cooler and way funner and way easier when you get to play with a great player because the sport is already hard enough. And playing with other great players in football does not guarantee you a championship. Ask the Eagles. So trade them. Scoop up all those draft picks. Pray that the team who gave you all them draft picks end up being trash because you probably won't end up getting great picks out of those first round picks. You'll probably try to package those up and trade them. Because whatever team Lamar go to, he's going to be fine. There'll be a good team. There'll be a great team contending for a Super Bowl. So, to be quite frank with you, the reason I say they should re-sign him, because the last two options, as good as they might sound, are god-awful when you think about who they're giving up in return for those. If you tag them and you trade them, you bring in all these different things, but are you guaranteed that what's going to come back in return is a Lamar Jackson, a franchise quarterback that so very clearly wins 70+% of his games without all pro talent around him? Who can survive multiple seasons with bad offensive line play, all his running backs being hurt, none of his receivers being healthy, not having backups to be competent enough to do their jobs because the organization is not competent enough to do their jobs? Could another quarterback come into this situation and deal with this? Not only that, could a white quarterback that is great come into the situation and put up with that and actually let you get away with doing that shit? Because we see Lamar Jackson start complaining, everybody gonna start going crazy because that's just how it's gonna be. But with Joe Burrow in this situation be complaining, would the media then go at Joe Burrow, or would they start directing that at the organization? So, to me, while we discuss tag, trade, sign, if they do anything but sign, this team's a fucking stupid team. And they'll be in the abyss of the franchise for years to come. Because you do not get away with trading away this type of talent or doing this type of talent so dirty. And the fact that it's other teams in the NFL that value Lamar Jackson more than the Ravens do should tell you how dirty and ugly business is for certain teams. Why in God's name would any other team value you, Lamar Jackson, for what he done for this team? Why would you allow any other team to value this man more than you do when what he has done has been directly affecting your team? Makes no sense, but that's business, baby. Now, what do I think should happen? Well, I think they should trade him. Well, Saint, you just said that was the worst option for them. Bro, I don't care about them. I care about the player. I want Lamar Jackson to be in a team, play for a team. And you got to understand, I'm never going to say, well, the fans love him. I could care less about fair weather fans. I want him to play for an organization and understand how great of a talent he is. And that he is the guy that can go one-on-one with Pat Mahomes, given the necessary weapons around him. You give him the receivers he needs. You give him the offensive line he needs. And the motherfucker don't even ask for much. They couldn't go out and get one receiver for him. One all-pro receiver. I want Lamar Jackson to not just be paid handsomely, but be treated like the fucking franchise quarterback that he is. It's real funny how the Ravens treated him good and they believed in him up until it was time to pay him. That's real strange. So I think they should trade him. I think he should be traded. They done disrespected him enough. They done questioned his greatness enough for him to have done what them asses wasn't put in the seats by Justin Tucker. So that's my thoughts on it. But hey, I want to give you a sneak peek into what's the next video, Saint? Well, I'm finna give you a sneak peek. I don't know. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody and appreciate all the new subscribers, bro. I really do. I appreciate y'all immensely. If you didn't make it to the end of the video, you didn't hear this of the show. You didn't hear this message. So I don't want you saying, oh, saying you don't never say thank you to the, your subscribers. No, you don't watch the full show. That is on you. Now, listen, some people might be like, well, I don't laugh enough while I watch it. Bro, I promise you that will change once I build a bigger crew. But for right now, these is more, it's just you kicking it with me right now, bro. You kicking it with me right now. But with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You can be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Sign out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.